Hey, you're listening to the Coffee O'Clock podcast, the show that brings you joy and inspiration, with special guests from all around the world who have an amazing story and expertise to evolve your personal and professional life. I am your host, Burcu, ONARANEL, the founder of Joy Marketing and Coaching. Make sure you grab your coffee and get ready to explore new ideas. Let's get started. Hello everyone, Coffee O'Clock. We are in the UK today. Cheers, my friend. Welcome. I have Pete Rushmer today.
Cheers.
Yes, we do the cheers.
Cheers.
My guest is a very, very important and a very fun person that I recently met through a speakers network, and then we connected on LinkedIn. Pete Rushmer, he is a founder, entrepreneur, speaker, but he recently won Young Entrepreneur of the Year at the Peterborough Telegraph Business Excellence Awards. And Peterborough Telegraph is a local newsletter in the UK. So if you don't know, I just learned. And we are going to talk about the performance trifecta model that he is going to unlock for us. I am excited to hear, even though I listened to a little bit before, but I am excited to share it with you all. And I will have him tell more about himself right now. Pete, welcome. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Very good, Burcu. Thanks for having me on the podcast, and thank you for an amazing introduction. I don't think I've ever been introduced with so much energy in my life, so thank you very much.
Yay! Happy. Can you tell us more about yourself? I introduced you a little bit, but can you share what you do? Who is Pete?
Sure, yeah. So for those of you that are looking and watching maybe on YouTube and wondering how I won a Young Entrepreneur Award, I am under 40, which apparently is it was the limit for the young entrepreneur. So I am 38. I live in Peterborough in the UK. And I'm here at my offices in Peterborough. I run a business called Flagship Partners, which I founded. I founded the business in 2018, and we've been pretty successful, which has led to this growth that we've seen over the past 4 or 5 years. So I used to work a corporate job. I used to I've worked in a range of businesses in my career previously, and worked my way up into sort of managerial roles. And I left a corporate role working for a large vehicle manufacturer who manufacture heavy goods vehicles, to take my knowledge and expertise and use it to help build my own enterprise. Flagship Partners are we're a team of nearly 15 people now in the UK, and we turn over 7 figures now. And it's been an amazing journey of learning how to build a business, what's needed, sales, marketing, building a team, understanding what performance is, those kinds of things, and also learning to manage myself as well and make sure that I stay energized to be the best entrepreneur I can be as well. So yeah, that's I guess that's a bit about us. The business itself is a bit boring, the things we do. Some people will be listening to this going, oh, that sounds boring. But it's if you're in the UK and you're interested in road safety and those kinds of things, and hopefully you'll find that this is something that we do. We help make sure that our clients' vehicles and the way they operate are safe in the UK. So we help to make sure that they have the right management structures in place. We make sure that they're maintained effectively, and we help make sure that all of the people who drive them and operate and run the companies are well trained as well. So we do a lot of the training around that too. So yeah, that's us in a nutshell. We do a bit of leadership development training, and recently, as Burcu's picked up, the business is starting to run itself a lot more now that we have 15 people, have amazing people in place. And I'm starting to now explore. I've just written my first book, and I'm starting to speak about performance because I've been on an NLP journey and found that my mission is a lot bigger than necessarily Flagship. I have a vision to be able to impact and help more and more people through my speaking and authoring and those kinds of things. So sorry, I waffled. I'll be quiet now.
That is no, you need to talk more because I want to hear more from you, my audience, I'm sure too, because you're so humble. I am so happy to meet you. And I always tell people who are humble, I say, oh, just, a little bit, say, I'm this, because you've done a lot of things that it's amazing to have someone sitting in front of me who is only 4 years older than me, but have done ton of things. And you have your first book and you are speaking and you run this company as an entrepreneur. I think you are, I don't want to say a true entrepreneur, but comparing to myself or people that I work, because I'm a one-woman show and most people are that I work one woman or just having the VAs and just doing the things. But you have this company that is built in only 5 to 6 years, and you said you're doing 7-figure and you have a team now and they are doing like it's just running by itself. It is a huge accomplishment, not a coincidence that you won the Young Entrepreneur of the Year award, which I want to congratulate you once again for that, because it's important to acknowledge our success, because I'm sure there is a lot of behind the scene of hard work, maybe some tears or nights that without sleep and arguments and struggles and not believing in yourself and then believing in yourself again. It's just a lot of things I can imagine. I want to ask you, you mentioned also NLP. It's also nice to have another NLP master practitioner in front of me.
Sure.
How did you meet NLP? Like, how did you find that?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So I guess there's a story behind that. So when I first when I was first in my career and working my way up in my 20s, I was sort of brought up with the belief that you went to school, you learned stuff, and then you just went into work, right? And then you worked through a career. And I worked in a small to medium-sized business where the business was run, the leadership was, and this started my fascination in leadership, really. It kind of triggered understanding what performance and leadership is. So I worked for a company that was privately owned. I loved the owner, the guy who owned it, but it was very old school, like you will do this and you will do that, and very forceful. And when I left there to then go and work for this global blue chip company, one of my friends said to me, you ought to start listening to some books and reading some books and maybe developing yourself. And I was like, what is this? What do you mean? And he was like, well, maybe start on a journey. So he recommended me a book, and I walked to work because actually the distance wasn't too bad. I can drive, obviously, but I like to walk, I like to listen, I like to learn. So I then started discovering this journey of like books and podcasts and all of those sorts of things. And since that, so we're talking like 10 years ago, I suppose, I sort of discovered personal development and professional development. And since then, I've read 200 business books, right? Lots of them, not just behind me, but they're on my phone. I listen to them. I probably read a book a week, something like that. So I'm fascinated through this journey of discovery. And what I found was I always thought the pinnacle was to run your own business. I thought I run my own business and I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to be, I know that I'm motivated, or now I know that I'm motivated by having freedom and autonomy and making my own decisions. But what I didn't realize was that I also had a lot of old beliefs and old challenges that I really started to struggle with. So when I first started the business in 2018, I was still working with the company I was working for, so I built it slowly, and then I actually left. In reality, I've only been running the business 5 years because I only started full time in 2019 because I was still working in my old job. And I had a load of doubts and fears and challenges. And over the first year or so, I was able to push them all down and just keep going and working and working and working. And, you know, I was working all the time. All the time I was consumed by thinking about what I needed to do next and how I was going to survive and how I was going to grow the business and how I was going to make it a success. Because also I was scared of other people seeing me fail. I was scared of, you know, all of the judgments of other people and those kinds of things. So after about 12 months, and then COVID hit as well. So in 2020, COVID hits, and there's loads of doubts around what's going to happen in the future, and what's going to happen. So I managed to then, in reality, I look back and COVID was a blessing because it made me have to stop and go, I can't cope with this anymore. I can't carry on. So what am I going to do? And at this point, I've read loads of books. I've done loads of self-development. I had a coach. I had a business coach using the action coach model. If anyone's ever heard of action coach, I had an action coach. So action coaches are very model focused. They're very about growing your business, but there's less focus on you as the person and the entrepreneur. Nothing wrong with that necessarily. Different types of coaching for different needs. And so at that point, it was kind of at this point I discovered NLP. I had this vision before that success looked like a mansion. It looked like a baby blue Lamborghini. It looked like a helicopter. You know, my action coach is sitting with me going, what color's the stitching in your helicopter that you're going to buy in the future? And so I'm kind of on this like hustle and grind sort of journey. And yeah, I kind of like really nearly, but I probably would have been burnt out, right? And yeah, I discovered NLP. I went and got some coaching with an NLP coach who then became my NLP trainer after about 12 months. So I kind of got fixed. He fixed my mindset. Obviously, we don't go from being broken to being fixed, but when I say fixed, I kind of started to understand myself better. I understood how I was motivated. I understood all the challenges I was facing and the issues I was having with my energies and my beliefs and my negative emotions and all of the baggage that I was carrying with me and making the journey heavier. So we were able to shed a load of stuff, make it a lot easier, and create a vision for the future that I really was motivated by and that I wanted to do. And then that helped obviously build the success of the business. I really aligned with the mission, with the purpose, and finding what it was I wanted to do. So it really matters to me. You know, in the UK, 5 people every day die needlessly through vehicle accidents and stuff like that, right? So that was a real mission for me to go, I'm going to build a business that does its bit to help stop that, you know. And we come up with new solutions and new ways of doing things, and I engage the team around it. And I wouldn't be able to do those things if I hadn't have discovered NLP. So yeah, so I did the coaching, I did a load of breakthrough coaching and then timeline therapy and those kinds of things. So I started to let go of all this stuff and I went on this journey of sort of growth and development. And interestingly, my coach, when I first met him back when I first met him at a networking event, and he won't mind me saying this, but I thought he was woo-woo. I thought he was like crazy man, you know. Like old me was like, this guy's crazy. I don't know, like, how does he coach people? Like, he's too soft, he's too gentle, he's too calm, too relaxed. And it's crazy how like you develop and change and then change your perception and that kind of stuff. So yeah, we went on a journey, and then after I realized the impact it had on me, I was like, right, my mission is to like help other people now. I need to help other people discover what I've discovered. I've got like this cheat code to life, right? And to being able to achieve and be happy and go about doing stuff and having real impact on people. So I went and did my own NLP practitioner, master practitioner. I've also done timeline therapy and motivational map practitioner as well. So motivational maps, have you heard of motivational maps?
No, I was going to ask you.
No.
Please.
Okay, cool. So the book is a bit about motivational maps. It's about motivation. So one of the things that I didn't realize, as you can understand from my backstory, there's a whole issue there around motivation and energy as well, and kind of like being energized and then going into a dip and then kind of finding the energy again. What people don't realize is motivation is really important. We talked about it, you and I, before, around making sure that we're properly energized by the work we're doing. And one of the things that's the challenge with that is it so affects performance, which is what the performance trifecta is about. It so affects performance, but leaders and managers aren't trained to understand motivation. They don't have the language. They don't, you know, we have this assumption that other people are motivated the way we are. So, you know, some people are motivated by power, by control, and some are motivated by money, for example, right? And what we do is we end up projecting our own values onto other people because we just expect them to be like us. And actually, leaders and managers have to understand that we have teams of people who are motivated in different ways. And we have to tune into the things that motivate them to get the best out of them and to be able to help them to perform as leaders as well. So but yeah, motivational maps are really important. So it's a bit like so a motivational map is a bit like people have come across different profiling tools like DISC and those kinds of things. It's a bit like that. You do a survey and it comes out with a map, and it tells you a bit more around the different areas. We're all motivated by the same things, just in different levels for different people, right? Some people like security and stability. And when they hear your journey that you've been on, right, they go, I couldn't do that. I couldn't move to America. I couldn't go there and not speak another language and all that sort of stuff, right? Because it's just not them. That's not who they are, right? And that's fine because we are all ourselves, and that's what makes us unique and beautiful people and that kind of stuff, right? So, but obviously you're motivated. If you're motivated to go and do those things, that's what you have to go and do, you know? So we have to unshackle ourselves a little bit to be able to achieve our full potential. I've waffled again, sorry.
No, please don't say that. Stage is yours in the coffee o'clock. We chat and you have the power to talk more because that's how it works. We want to learn from you. And I never heard the motivational map practitioner side, and it's very, very fascinating. And I realized we talked about it, like similar things in your podcast. Everybody is different, and I think it's a great I couldn't say
Okay. Methodology.
methodology. I'm glad I'm gonna edit this. So
It's
it's
okay.
a great methodology to learn, and it's just because we are all different, and everybody drives with the different tools and beliefs and what they need to do at that time, what they feel. So it's great that you do that, and your journey is absolutely amazing because you already was doing something, having your own company. Like you said, most people think that, oh, you have everything together, you know, you should be happy now, you should be living your dreams now. But that's deeper than that. Even though the picture looks like you have it all together inside of you, it might not the case. And most of the time, it is not the case. Most of the time, people don't look inside because what we do, and I'm sure you can relate to it, we just look on Instagram or other social media and then see other people, oh, they're so happy, they have everything together. And who knows, they have everything together. So
No, you're absolutely right. So, you know, you got to think I'm on this journey and all of a sudden I've gone from like being being a person who runs a big business and owns that business and then becomes a millionaire and those kinds of things, right? At a point in your life, people think that that's someone else's dream, someone else is going to achieve that. And at this point, I'd always thought that's someone else's dream, but I'd realized that I've done enough work that I was on this journey. This is what's going to happen, right? But I have a wife, I have 4 children, I have things that are more important than those things. And what's happening is it's consuming me. The work is consuming me. And the family and the things that matter to me are the things that happen at the end of the day when I'm worn out and I don't have any energy left and I had no time for them and they never saw me. And I just thought I can achieve these things. I can achieve, you know, fame. I can achieve all the money in the world. For what? For what, right? For what? Because I just had this like glaring realization that that isn't what success is, right? That isn't what success is. At that time, I'd have gone back to mopping the floor. I'd have gone back to cleaning the toilet, anything to have more time with my family and to let go of all the weight of the responsibility I was feeling. So that's it's important to sort of stop and go, whoa. And actually COVID did that for me, you know, because I had to stop. I had to stop, and I was like, I can do this. I can go there, but I'm going to lose me. I'm just going to lose who I am by getting there. And that is not what I wanted. So
thank you so much for touching this point. And I didn't know that you have 4 children. That's amazing. And you just mirrored me something that when my husband and I went on our first date years ago, he asked me what success mean for me. And I was like, this is interesting, you know, because it means different to everyone. And you touched that very wisely. You can do all those things, but for what? Like, will you be happy after all these things? And I think it's a great tool that in coaching or in NLP we use that. Okay, what happens? You have that. What's next? What's next? What's next? And then you reach that your purpose, and then you reach at the end of like, what happens if you don't achieve? What happens if you achieve? Like, all those questions really help you to really understand what you really want and what matters to you. So from your sentences, I know that family is important for you. So I'm so happy to hear that, because in these days it's not really a priority for many people. And I think we lose this connection that we need the most. With the COVID, we learned, some of us, and then after COVID, when everything got normal, people started to lose it again. So I think this is a good reminder for people who are listening or watching us. Please think about what you do, what you want to do, and ask yourself, like Pete said, for what? And then there's a pause, and you'll receive the answer. Let's get into the performance trifecta model. Tell us what it is and what it is for. What can we do with it?
Yeah, cool. So I think suffering, suffering essentially like burnout, you realize that actually if you have your energy so low, you can't perform, right? So one of the things I learned was through the journey that I've been on is that energy is really important. And I think you've obviously discovered this, which is joy with 2 Y's, right? Now, energy is really important, but actually we don't talk about it when it comes to performance. In the UK, we have a podcast called the High Performance Podcast. I don't know if you've heard of this podcast, right? And people, and they're famous people in the UK who talk about high performance, and they speak to Formula One drivers and successful business owners and all of these people that we perceive success to be, which is like an outward projection of what success is. And one of the things that I think is missing from all the books that I've read and everything like that is that actually success is more an internal job, right? We decide, right? I feel successful, you feel successful, right? But in the eyes of other people, we may or may not be. And actually, we focus too much on the external of other people. So I wanted to make sure that we started to have the conversation. I realized my purpose was that I'd felt unhappy in all of my previous jobs. I'd learned stuff, I'd performed well, I'd done well by all of their metrics, but I'd never really been satisfied or happy with what I'd done. And even in my own business at that time as well. So I wanted to open this conversation around energy. And so the performance trifecta is essentially a model that goes, this is how I wanted to create a model. And the book 2 is around how people do it. The first book is around introducing the model and sort of explaining how I kept, the stories behind how I came to the model. But essentially, to achieve performance, we need 3 key things. And the first key thing is direction. So we need to decide, what is the mission? What is the vision? How are we going to do these things? And within direction, or what I class as direction, which is sort of the North Star around any organization. So whether not just a business, but a charity, whether it's a sporting endeavor, whatever it might be, because this can apply to sports people too, right? What's the mission? Is it gold medal at the Olympics? Is it the Premier League for football? Is it, is it achieving 10 million pounds, 100 million pounds, whatever it may be? And I always encourage people to stay away from the money, right? Because what we need to start to realize is that money's just energy, right? Money is the energy that enables us to do the things we want to do. But actually, as a goal, it's not really a goal, right? What's the mission? My company, our mission is to make our clients safer, greener, and greater. We want to make sure that our clients are safer, that we reduce this 5 people a day. We want to reduce that, right? We want to make sure that we have less impact on the environment. We want to make sure that they're better places to work. That's a mission, right? And so the direction is around that. And then it's around the guardrails a leader will put in place to make sure that occurs. So what are the values? What really matters to us as an organization? How are we going to lead the people in our team? And what are the things that we're going to tolerate and what are the things we're not going to tolerate? Because once you get an organization of people, we need to, as a former HR person, we need to give people some expectations around what they can expect from us as a leader. So direction is number one. And then number two, we need to give people the skills. We need to give them the skills and the behaviors to be able to achieve the things they need to achieve, right? We need to make sure that we have good training plans for people. We need to make sure that we have a pathway. If people want to develop, there's a pathway for them to improve, because many people find that energizing as well. And then the final piece is this energy and motivation. So we need to really fuel performance by making sure that we're properly incentivizing people. And when you ask most people, well, what do you want? How do I make you happier at work? Well, pay me more. And I'm like, okay, well, let's take that off the table. What do you want to get paid, right? And they go, I don't know, whatever, £20 an hour. Okay, we'll pay you £20 an hour. What now? What do you want? And then people are like stuck because they don't know what they want. They're still not happy because they're getting paid the money. And actually and performance is a lot more. Some people are motivated by money, right? That's cool. I'm motivated by money. I wouldn't start a business if I wasn't, because you have to have that drive, right? But it's a part of a bigger thing. And there's things that are, there's other things that we need to add into that, because some people like beanbags. Let's give people beanbags. Let's give people, I don't know, all the cool stuff that Google's doing to like keep people happy. But I don't know, there's just more to it than that. And the one of the things that made me go, this model works, right? There was like a real moment. I love football. I absolutely love football. One of my goals when I started the business was to buy a season ticket for Manchester United, they're in the country. I'm in Peterborough, and Manchester's like here, it's miles away, right? But from a boy, I was always a fan. And I always wanted to buy a season ticket for United because I loved it. And it's been my thing. And it was a goal I set, and it's something that I've achieved. And so I needed money to achieve that, right? I needed to have money to be able to achieve it, but it wasn't the end goal. The end goal was that I get to go and have this experience all the time and do the thing that I love. Now, what I realized was that Manchester United have lots of money. They're a very successful club. But what would happen is they had direction, they had good leadership, they have really skillful players. What would happen is sometimes teams who were not as good and had not as skilled players were performing better and beating them. And I was like, well, why is this? And that's how we prove the trifecta works, because those teams turn up, and on the day, they've got the energy, they've got the motivation, they want to go and win, and they want to win more than the people who are better than them, more skillful, more highly paid, more successful, have more trophies, have more medals, all of the external success. But on the day, the energy is not the same. And as a team, they don't perform as well. So I guess in a nutshell, that's the trifecta. That's the book that I've written. And then there's going to be a TEDx talk off the back of that as well, which I'm really excited about. And that's my idea around how to achieve performance. So I create a map for people, really, for leaders to be able to go and achieve high performance.
I love that. And you're going to be on TEDx stage. That is exciting. Another
It is
thing,
exciting.
congratulate you. When is that? And where is it?
Yeah, it's in January. It's in January, and it's in the UK, in Nottingham, which is about an hour away from Peterborough in the UK. So Nottingham's kind of in the Midlands, and yeah, it's exciting. It's in January. The book launch will be around December. I've written the book, but I have some help with people just making sure that my spelling is right and grammar and those kinds of things. So and then yeah, so the book's going to be published, and yeah, my second rehearsal for TEDx is tonight, and I missed the first rehearsal because I was on holiday in Turkey. So yeah, second rehearsal tonight, and I'm actually really nervous. I'm really nervous. It's the first time I meet, there's going to be 7 other people speaking, and it's the first time I meet them, and today is the first time I hear them speak, and I go, am I good enough for this? And yeah, the imposter will kick in, and they're all highly qualified doctors and professionals and those kinds of things, and I just think, well, I'm just Pete, right? So I still have, after all the journey and after everything, sometimes I still have the am I okay to do this? Am I allowed? Is someone going to give me permission?
You received the permission. They want you on their stage. You see people who are watching or listening us right now, you can tell how humble he is. He proved it right now. He's done so many things. He's still thinking, I'm just Pete. Pete with lots of things, my friend. And I think what you're going to do, I'm sure, is that you're going to follow your own I shouldn't say this word. You're going to follow your own map to have the success. So trifecta method you mentioned, first is the direction, the mission, and then second is the skills, the talent you have, and then third, the fuel, the energy. When you have these, you will be more than fine and you will rock their world. I'm very sure. So thank you for sharing this method with us. I took notes here. That's why I said everything. And I will use it in my personal and professional life because I think it's a great, short and sweet map. It's not complicated. It's what we need. 3 things you need. You need to have the mission, you need to have the skill for it, and then you need to have the energy, of course. And I want to ask you what you're going to do to make sure you have the energy for tonight. Let's hear your own motivational tool that you can share with us and with yourself.
Sure. So my key motivations, that I have three key motivations, top ones. The fourth is around money and growth and material wealth, but the 3 top drivers that I have, one is the mission, which hopefully comes across. It's about purpose. So my mission in life is to help others to achieve fulfillment through self-mastery. So to energize myself, to raise the energy to be able to do this, I think about this. It's also around having freedom and autonomy. So being able to go and be a successful speaker allows me the time to be able to make space and have autonomy as well. And then the final thing is around creating stuff. So I discovered, one of the things I discovered, I always thought, if you asked me 5 years ago, are you creative? I thought no. Because I've been working in a job, and I'd have gone, I'm not creative, I can't do this. And if you're thinking this, and if people are listening and they go, I'm not creative, make some space, think about stuff, because it turns out that it's one of the most important things for me is to create stuff that people enjoy and create solutions for people. And so I'm really motivated by that. So that's part of the wanting to help people. So by creating the talk, by creating the model, that will find the energy. So even if I've not had enough sleep, even if I've worked too hard, even if I have to get up early tomorrow to go and do something, those things will keep me energized. But there is the but also I do make sure that I look after myself and take downtime. I was at the gym this morning. I try and eat healthily. I try and do all of the things to make sure that I give myself the best chance to be energized. But yeah, so there's a mix. There's a mix of keeping myself in the right place from a physical health perspective, as best that I can through making good choices. But it's also around making sure that I remind myself why, like joy with the second why, right? Why is this? Why am I doing this? So
that's amazing. Thank you for sharing those. It's very helpful for me, and I'm sure for our audience too. It's so important to do the things that will help us along the way. Like maybe hitting the gym was not easy for you. Maybe some days it's not easy. I know myself. Some days I just feel like, oh, I feel gross. I don't want to do anything. But then when I know after I do the thing that really pissed me off at the moment will really help me lead my way, lead the day, and have so much things that I can accomplish. So always think about the future, like if I choose this, how it's going to affect my daily life. And then in the future, like 5 years from now, how am I going to be if I do this today? Because all these small little actions that we do every single day, every choices we make can build, actually it builds, not can, it does build our future. And it's very important. All those small habits can turn into your future, your destiny. So thank you for sharing that, Pete. I've enjoyed a lot. I want to talk to you like what for hours, but I'm not allowed to do that. To respect your time, respect the audience time, and everything. We have a long day to go today, and you have a very important day today. And I wish you best of luck for that. Even though you don't need to, you have everything you need, and I know you will do so great. And you shared you are going to have your book, and you are going to be on TED stage, and you have your company, or you also do the trainings, you speak. So all those things, I'm going to put all the links that people can find you, but share with us where and how people can reach out to you and how you work with people.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. So I work with people in a number of ways. Obviously, if you're interested in Flagship Partners, then have a look at the Flagship Partners website. It's flagshippartners.co.uk. Best thing to do is to connect with me on LinkedIn. You'll find me, Pete Rushmer. I have a fairly unusual surname, so there's not too many of us, I don't think. So yeah, find me on LinkedIn, and then I share a load of stuff. Right, you're going to follow me on LinkedIn, and then you're going to get bored of all the stuff that I share. So yeah, that's really the best way to get in touch with me. And obviously keep an eye out the books coming later this year. The Performance Trifecta. Please do get a copy. Get in touch, follow me, and then you'll see when it comes out. And that's it. Thank you so much for having me. I hope you enjoy your holiday, by the way. And thank you for having me on the podcast. I've really enjoyed chatting to you today.
Thank you. Me too. And before you go, I always ask my guests, and I'm going to ask you too, what sentence you want to say to our audience to leave with?
Think about what your mission is and pay attention to your story, because there's something there to help you.
Thank you.
That caught me on the hop, but hopefully that was good.
Yeah, he took a long pause, and then he said something like, dropping the mic. Thank you so much. I enjoyed a lot too. Thank you so much for putting your expertise, energy in story, everything you've done. Please own more what you do. Please stop being humble. That's what I want to tell you. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to meet you, and I look forward to your book and speaking, everything. People who joined us today, either you're listened, or watching, please share this episode with the people you think can make an impact in their life. Follow Pete with all the links I put down the show, and reach out to him, reach out to me. And he is also a host of half dozen things podcast. So we didn't mention that. So make sure to follow that too. That will be also under the show. Thank you so much. Thank you. Last cheers before you go. Cheers, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and now you can apply it to your life. If you did enjoy it, please subscribe to the Coffee O'Clock podcast on Apple and leave us a review. I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you feel like someone needs to listen to this episode, share it on your social media or text the link to that person to make an impact in their life. Be sure to tune in every Monday for new episodes. You can also watch the episodes and find more inspiration on my Instagram, which is at JOYYBURCU. Until next time, make sure to spend some time with you and stay with joy.